Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of EverWorker Live. My name is Austin Bram, and I am the AI evangelist here at EverWorker. And I have the privilege of bringing in and interviewing one of my coworkers, Ionut, to actually take us through an investment report AI worker that he built. So, Ionut, thank you very much for joining. If you wouldn't mind, could you just give a brief introduction to yourself, basically?
Hello everyone, I'm Ionut. I'm principal AI engineer and I'm building here AI workers.
Perfect. Well, awesome. Thank you for that, Unit. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So for everyone, I have just a quick presentation, kind of set the stage for us here, and then we'll bring Unit back in to actually take a look at basically what he's built here. So let's go ahead and jump on in here. So the first things that I want to be going over with all of you today is basically the importance on why AI, why now, what's going on in the market. And obviously, we can see that there is a large amount of disruption that is happening more or less because of AI as it's being implemented and as it's being executed on in the world. There is an estimated 300 million jobs, both in the US and Europe, and those are, of course, there's way more markets than just that, that are kind of poised more or less to be disrupted by AI. And as you can see here, about 2/3 of those jobs can be automated by AI agents. And then a fourth of those jobs can be fully replaced by AI workers. Now, of course, that's quite dramatic and that can seem quite scary, but we kind of go into why it's very important right now to get started with learning all this. So for the most part, the idea is clear and the path is clear, or the path to kind of knowing that you need to have AI implemented some way, you have an AI strategy for your business, that's clear. But the path to actually how you do that is not so clear. There's a lot of murkiness in the waters. There's arguments on what is the definition of AI agents, what is all this, and as you can see from most examples on large corporations, like even that I've been a part of, about 80% of AI projects are failing, wasting billions of dollars, months, sometimes years of time because of just the overall complexity that is needed to more or less implement these into your business, which obviously is a large portion that is leading to what we are calling and what we're seeing AI fatigue in the market. Is that some people are just not believing the hype about AI because they're seeing so many different pilots and projects failing. But at the same time, according to Deloitte, AI agent adoption is happening very quickly and is increasing very, very quickly. So according to them, by the end of this year, about 25% of enterprises that are using generative AI will actively deploy AI agents or agentic AI systems into their AI systems, basically in and of themselves. And then by the time it gets to 2027, that doubles to 50%. And then obviously, as you can see on the right-hand side, by 2028, 33% of enterprise software applications in some way will include this agentic AI capabilities. So it is only growing. If you've been in the AI industry, or at least keeping up with things that are going on in AI as of recent, you can kind of tell that even about a year ago, a lot around AI agents and agentic AI was just seen as theory. Someday we'll be able to do this. Someday there will be agentic capabilities, all the way to now, almost July of 2025, and there is pretty much full capabilities at this point to start implementing agentic AI. So then that kind of leads to the question of what we like to delineate here at EverWorker as the AI workforce. What does that even mean? So traditionally speaking, everything started with AI chat assistants, which that's what you can think of as ChatGPT, Google Gemini. At that time, it was Google Bard, Claude, all of those, where they are chat interactions to help accelerate and simplify more or less tasks, but they're not doing things for you. But then you have the idea of AI agents, which you can really think of, and obviously we're not going to get into arguments about what is an AI agent here, The simplest way you can think about it is you have these chat assistants, but you also have tools that they can do things for you. They can do tasks for you. Whereas we like to think of things in AI workers, kind of the definition, where it is seen as not just doing simple tasks, but it's doing holistic work for you, with you, alongside of you, so that it is a complex workflow that is almost mimicking what someone on your team would be doing. So whenever you're, like in this case, when we're talking to Ionut later, he's gonna show us that there is an AI worker that he's built that can actually do work that a normal human would be doing. But then that kind of leads to the idea that most people then have is like, what is this AI workforce? What are some examples that you can give me? Now, of course, you're gonna see a lot of text in these next slides. Do not read all of them. They're more or less just to give you some ideas that there's a million different ideas out there. So let's talk about like today. Today's, for example, we're talking about finance and accounting, that space for the most part. So you have like invoice acceptance, validation and payments. You have to identify wasted spend, employee expense validation and response, audit and compliance. For example, Ionut's investment report worker. Those are just some ideas that you can have of basically, if you can have an audit, or if you can have a repeatable process / like task that you could teach me. I'm not in the finance space. I mean, sure, I enjoy learning about it and I know a little bit about it, but I'm not by any means a professional in it. If you could teach me to do something in, let's say at your work, hey, I want you to do X, Y, Z, follow A, B, C, those steps. That's when you can start to think, okay, that's a perfect place where I can start building an AI worker and implementing an AI worker. And then here are just some more examples. It's not just finance and all that. You can do operations, sales and marketing, and obviously much, much more. But then that comes to the question, okay, I understand all that, Austin. Why EverWorker? Why are you all different? The biggest things here would be the idea of there is no engineering required. We have a low code or no code platform that allows anyone, me, I'm in marketing, someone like me, that I can create my own sophisticated AI workers. But then it's also able to be tailored to your specific business. As long as there is an API, we can connect to it. No need for MCP, no need for A2A, all these complicated protocols, basically. If there's an API, we have a universal connector, which even Ionut and I will talk about later, that allows you to integrate into any system with that API. But then you also have the expertise that is built in inherently because of people like Ionut. And if you remember last week with Andre and then other people from our team, where we have professionals that all they do day in and day out is work with customers to create these highly sophisticated and customizable AI workers. So EverWorker kind of delivers the fastest time to market as well as the lowest cost to actually create and employ these AI workers. Now, basically, when you think of the underlying idea of AI agents, there is a vast kind of ecosystem of things that you need to think about beforehand that you can even then deploy AI agents. EverWorker takes care of all the underlying complexity. Let's say, like we all know that, the adage here that there's 90% of the iceberg is below the surface that you don't even see. We take care of all that for you so that all you have to see is a nice UI of a place where you can actually build these AI workers. We take care of all the underlying complexity. Now, here we have kind of more or less 4 different parts. We won't go too deep into them as of right now. But we have EverWorker Canvas, which is what you're going to more or less be seeing from Ionut here. We have the EverWorker AI Wizard, where basically you just explain to an AI worker that we have built what the AI worker you want is, and it will help you build it. But then we also have the EverWorker Universal Connector, which I just talked about as well, which allows you to connect to anything with an API, as well as the EverWorker Knowledge Engine, which allows you to input whatever data that you would like into these systems so that they're highly customized to you and your business. Now, from here, our package services allow any business and anyone in a business to become an AI leader. So we have 3 different main ways that we do that. Through a discovery workshop, which is more or less a place that we can work with you to actually create a plan to implementing AI workers into your business where we can kind of help you create some POCs so you can see what exactly you need for your business. And that's, once again, highly customizable. But then you have the idea of what Ionut does. Ionut does actually, where you're like, okay, you know what? You build them. We'll tell you what to do. Obviously, we work alongside you, but we want someone that does this every single day to do this. Ionut and the team of AI engineers here can help build and actually build these sophisticated AI workers depending on what you are looking for. But then we also have the idea of our on-site training. Alongside of this would be our EverWorker Academy, which allows and kind of teaches everyone or whoever you'd like to be a part of this how to think about AI in the first place, starting with AI fundamentals all the way to creating actual POCs, so that we can, teach you to fish as well as give you the fishing rod so that you can do more or less this by yourself. So with all of this said, now our CEO, Peter Guigenti, like I even just posted a video about this, more or less last week on our YouTube channel. We're always talking about the idea of businesses are expected to do more with less right now. They have less resources, less spend, all of this, less people on the team, and they're stretched too thin. But with EverWorker and EverWorker's platform, you can do more with more than you've ever thought possible, and you can accelerate your business with an always-on agentic AI workforce. But with all that said, all the underlying complexities kind of talked about, let's now bring in Ionut, where he's going to show us exactly what he has built and more or less give us a demo, and we can ask questions and all that on this sophisticated AI worker that he has built. So let's bring in Ionut here. Ionut, thank you very much once again for joining. If you wouldn't mind, just first and foremost, taking us through what is this AI worker that you built? Why did you build it? All of that stuff.
Sure. So a quick overview about this agent. First of all, it was built initially for one of our customers, and it is supposed to help them to build an investment report. So before deciding to invest in a given company, you usually need to put a couple of data together from different data sources to see what was the founding history, what are the current numbers, what are the projections, what is the executive summary, and so on. So this AI worker will help actually our customer to put all the data together in a Word document from where it's super easy for them to read it and then continue with the decision. So I will start with this agent, and I will hit the play button, and while it runs, I will explain you how it was created and each node of each step of the AI worker. So I will press here on play, and then let's see. First of all, here we have the agent inputs, where we have a basic prompt like a report for our worker, our company, and we have the second node here from where it helps us actually to extract the company name. We can live see the results here of each node. Then the next very important part of this worker are the data sources. So we are using three main data sources. It's Octagon, Perplexity, and SharePoint files, because they have really good data sources. And then also for SharePoint, because sometimes the customer has some private documents from the company, and then we need to aggregate the information into the final report.
Okay,
so now
I have a question right here actually. So in this case you chose Octagon, SharePoint, and Perplexity. Could this be other places as well?
Yes, for sure. It could be very easy other places, or we can be Google or anything else. So as soon as the data source they have an open API or something, then we can easily integrate with or read the website and then use the information.
Great.
We can easily integrate with the APIs. I can quickly show you the universal API and how easy it's actually to create an integration. So we just need to click here on plus and then node designer, and then here we can pass the URL of the API from the API documentation, or we can go in the advanced mode and type the API URL, the method, and any parameters we need here, and just create, and then we will get in the end a node like this one.
Okay.
that will help us to fetch the data.
So there's basically two different modes. You can think of it as like me not being a developer, the universal connector, like the integrator is going to be able to, as long as I can find the documentation, like I could type in Perplexity API documentation where it will give the C URL and I can just copy and paste it into there.
Just
And then if there's
paste it
someone like
there.
you that knows how to make it, you could actually put it in any information that you'd like yourself. So two different ways of doing it, eh?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
they're right. So if we click on each of each nodes, we can see the output that we get from the data sources. And the very important one is this SharePoint integration, from where we actually manage to read the PDF files or Word files or any other data types. For this demo, I created a basic folder with EverWorker company where I have a Word document. I can quickly show you the content that we managed to read from the document. And then if we go to SharePoint, I can also show you the document created, which is this one with the details. So now all the information from this document, we integrated it into the final report. Now we will go to the next node, which is actually the brain of the AI worker, and it helps us to generate the report. On this one, we actually pass all the instructions that we want the AI worker to execute for us. We can specify things here like the format of the document, what informations we want to be included in the report, and any other details like training someone to do the job for us. We actually need to write the same steps in here.
Yeah. So you know what this makes me think of is like on the brain node and how you put very specific system prompt and very specific instructions. Kind of the main difference of like, let's say someone goes over to ChatGPT or Google Gemini and they do like a deep research or something like that on something to then create a report. If it doesn't like it's not inherently going to have, let's say, like the Perplexity, the Octagon, the SharePoint data that of what you wanted to share with it, but then also you're not necessarily going to be able to easily change the system prompt to make the exact format that you want. So this kind of allows you, and every single time, to be a hyper customizable, hyper specific example that you can build.
Yeah, this is true. Actually, here we specify the headers we want in the in the Word document and anything else. So we can remove, add more, specify any kind of instructions we want. Here we have an interesting example where we want a table to be generated into the final report and how we generated it. And then in the rest of the nodes, we have another interesting node here, which help us actually to format the content, because this one will generate the content for us and of the report. But this one is very important because it will help us to add the citations to see what are the data sources used into the report, and also to format it for how SharePoint like how Word accept this, like to see the real formatting in the final document. Because probably if we want to generate like a Google a file, then it will be generate the formatted like in another way, like technically for speaking here. So after the document it's formatted in the format we want, we have a node here that help us to save the file into the SharePoint folder. And then a part that I've added here to present today is that if we want to be more technical and we want to write some code or something, then we have a very interesting node here, which is code executor, that allow us to write a JavaScript code, and then we can like write a lot of more complicated instructions if you want, or anything else.
Okay, so like that's something that I was running into actually recently when we were at the AI Summit London. Was obviously at an AI conference. Lots of people are AI engineers or software developers, that love to code and actually want to implement code. So this would be an example of if like someone like me, I could build up to maybe that point, and then me not knowing how to code, I don't have to implement the code executor. But since you do know how to code, then hey, like, oh, maybe I'll add a little bit extra, go a little bit deeper by adding that if I want to.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, most of the developers are also using AI to generate the code, but sometimes.
True.
Yeah. And yeah, this is the AI worker. This is how it works. These are the main steps that I put together here
Sure.
for this agent.
Could you show us what the document would look like?
Sure. So the document is generated here in SharePoint as I mentioned. Here I have a folder, and we have one here generated 6 minutes ago, which is this one that we generated right now, and this is how it looks in the end. Here is the text with the citations, with the table format, and the main informations we need to have here. Where some informations are missing, because probably we request some informations from the LLM and they are just not available in any of data sources. There we have instructions to write not specified, like instead having any hallucinations or any wrong numbers that will generate more issues. Then it's preferred to just have like no specified, because it's more clear. And here,
yeah,
in the end, we can see some useful links, which is the company details, which is actually an URL to the data source, to the Word document from the SharePoint. If we click on it, it will point us to the document. So we can imagine that in SharePoint there could be any reports, any important numbers there that needs to be aggregated in the final report.
Mm-hmm. So this apps, I mean, like you can even just think, I mean, for everyone that is watching this right now, of like the idea of basically, creating the AI worker once, and then rather than, like, let's say every single time, either maybe you do go to ChatGPT or Gemini, every single time you kind of have to prompt and go back and forth to get each part of this step. Whereas we build it once, it's there, so that every time you want to use it, rather than even spending 20 minutes going back and forth on ChatGPT and Gemini, it takes 3 minutes to run this. And then on top of that, of course, the legacy way of going and actually doing all of the research and then writing all of it into a document, formatting all of the document, that could take hours to days to weeks, depending on your level of sophistication on this investment report. So something like this, over and over and over, saving that much time. And then, of course, on top of that, I mean, like, I'm sure you do this all the time. Like, you could even then, now this be one like worker that you've built that can then, maybe you want to build another worker to, okay, find that email and email that person from that website and create, and then connect it to it, like the workers together. And you just keep building a more and more sophisticated workflow where you're doing, basically, it's doing the work of a workforce, which is, hence all of the AI workforce.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, usually how those AI workers are, used is when someone submits like a request for evaluation or something, then the worker is automatically executed. It generates the reports, and in the end, it can send an email into your inbox, and then you have just to read the email with the summary. You can see all the details in there, and yeah, I don't know, decide, accept something or reject or whatever it's needed.
Yeah, well. So this makes me think, especially going off of kind of a conversation last week with Andre. Where does this agent live? Like, is there a front end for it or anything like that, or is it only on the platform?
Yes, so here we also have it integrated with the extension that Andre presented in the previous
Awesome.
meeting. So we can see it here also very well formatted, and yeah, we can read it and see everything.
So just like how Andre talked about, for everyone that watched it last week, and if not, you can watch it on our YouTube channel or our LinkedIn. Andre even went over like how to add an agent or a worker into the Chrome extension. So I assume that's just the same thing that you did with here, is you just got the API from our settings and then threw it into the Chrome extension, which kind of shows the ease of which anyone can add basically a front end to your agent and your worker, or also build into your existing system. So this is perfect. Thank you very much for showing that. I had one of my questions that I had with this that I'm always so curious on is, like, let's say the brain of your agent node choosing a different model and deciding which model to go with. Can you kind of go into why you decided to go with GPT-4 Turbo?
Sure. So usually when we have to decide which model to use, this is a very complicated thing, because currently there are a lot of options from where we can choose. But this is I would say easy in the EverWorker platform, because we have a section in the platform where we can compare actually the models for a given use case. So how I have here an example that I prepared actually. So we can select a few models from this list here. I selected only 3 for this example, and then I write here like details about EverWorker company, format the output with bullet points, and here I provided the company website. And if we have a quick look at the models, we can see that the one that generated is the best for us. It's actually for Turbo Preview GPT, because it has the bullet points, it has the website, and a lot more informations than the GPT-4o. Simple.
Interesting.
So
like
sorry, go.
Go ahead, Ionut. Go ahead.
Yeah, wanted to say that for a given use case, we can easily open this page, which is compare agents and LLMs, and we can select a few LLMs and just to write a prompt and see how it performs, and then it will help us easily to decide which one works best for our case.
Cool. Because the thing that I was thinking was, like, traditionally speaking, you would think, oh, the newest model that keeps coming out will be the best thing to always use. Whereas in this case, I mean, GPT-4 Turbo is even like a year and a half I think about a year and a half old at this point. And even that is giving a better response to what the exact thing that you were asking for, versus
in this
Claude
case.
3.7.
Yeah, for this
Super
case,
interesting.
it's right. Probably if we will ask it to format some any other types, or
Right.
JSON formats or so on, or write some code, probably Cloud will perform better than GPT.
And the cool thing, obviously, just like as you can see on the canvas right here, of like, he could just change. You can just change the model as easy as just clicking and then changing the model. So you can make it hyper specific to also be, best output, or you can go for lowest cost, most tokens, and you can kind of choose depending on that. So thank you very much, Ionut. We really appreciate that demo for this. But now, so for everyone that is watching, thank you all for joining. If you would like to learn more or connect with Ionut or myself, you can see here the QR codes, mine up top, Ionut's down below, to connect with us on LinkedIn, where you can continuously learn more. And then in my case, I'm doing these live streams weekly and creating other content as well. So if you wanted to keep up to date on more of what EverWorker is doing in LinkedIn and on social media, you can connect with us there. But then I did also want to kind of point out and highlight the EverWorker Academy. So for all those that are here, I'm sure, I mean, I'm the same way. AI certifications and certificates are kind of the hot commodity, obviously, in the space. We have created for everyone a free resource where you can get certified to be in the fundamentals of AI for business professionals, basically, which is going to teach you about this platform on top of just knowing the business fundamentals of AI altogether. It only takes about 2 hours. Like I said, it's free. You can find that at workeracademy.ai, and obviously that's on our website, it's on our LinkedIn, all that, and you can ask me questions too. And when you're done, you will get a certificate just like this with your name and everything on it. Please add that to your LinkedIn. Post about it. Tag us, all the above. We would love to repost that and highlight you and the work that you've done and being a part of the EverWorker Academy kind of revolution to get people ready for the AI workforce. But with all that said and done, Ionut, thank you so much for taking us through this demo today. And thank you to all that are watching and will watch kind of after the fact. Please keep an eye out as we'll be doing these live streams weekly, where there'll be new content, there'll be new workers that are created, there'll be some thought leadership, demos, all the above. And we want you to stay involved with that. So keep up to date on our LinkedIn, as well as we'll be sending out emails on it as well. But Ionut, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time today, and I'll talk to you later.